Log 5. I had a dog right after the Dogscape happened. His name was Carl. He always followed me around. When I was almost dead from starving, he got me dog fruits. When I was dying of thirst, he held milk in his mouth and got it to me. One day, his foot got stuck in the mouth and I couldn't get him out, so I watched while it swallowed him. A few years later, when I went back, Carl was right there, but he was stretched out, and I went to pet him, except it wasn't him, and he bit me and wouldn't let go. I wonder if people can be part of the Dogscape too. I miss Carl. Log 6. All is one in a new truth. The dog mother is vast beyond imagining. It requires many to be kept comfortable and clean. We chosen to not go unrewarded, however, in our vast wisdom. The matriarch gives all we need. We sup from our vast teat, a hearty meal unlike any other. It invigorates and nourishes us custodians, and gives us more than we could have ever wished. The time soon approaches, though, to find new workers. The metamorphosis is upon many of us, and soon we will join with the glory of the dog mound. We are so different from the others. As I shuffled about down among the fertile groves, many of us have a thick coat already, and old Lawrence has already begun to walk on all fours. Soon we will shed our mortal selves, and be part of the dog mother. Our mother. Log 7. I think we knew the war had been lost the day the general committed suicide. The masses of flesh and fur just spread, like waves across the cities. We found out that, whatever it was drinking the oceans and eating anything it came across. Airstrikes, tanks, bombs had only slowed it down. We were living on borrowed time. It was unstoppable. I don't think it was until later that we noticed all the dogs were gone. And then at night, the howling. It was just too much. The former soldier's face streamed with involuntary tears as he remembered the events. He sat there, wallowing in his own emotions, telling his story to a skeleton he found. My unit, completely wiped out. I saw those tentacles in those mouths. They tore them to shreds. I ran away, even when they called for help. It's all your fault! The dog tree shifted slightly. Many eyes growing around directed their gaze towards the psychopathic man. You ruined everything! You killed my friends, my family, goddamn everyone! He ran and stabbed one of the eyes with a bone fragment. A howling noise emerged, and a nearby dog tree swatted him with several yards. He broke a few ribs when he hit the ground. He coughed a bit of blood and got back up and charged again. This time he ran towards one of the open mouths around and kicked several of its teeth out. It bit his foot in response, costing him a toe or two. He was so full of adrenaline he was incapable of registering any kind of pain. He bit and tore at the flesh with his bare hands until he was knee-deep in blood and gore. One of the tubes he tore spilled some sort of digestive fluid over him. It burned, but he had to go on. He dug and dug with his bare hands until the ground started to close above him. He kept digging until he found them, the heart and brain. He laughed at his fortune of finding both of them so close together. He jammed his hands deep into grey matter, disturbing the contents and slowly losing oxygen in his tunnel of meat. He gasped and clawed at the heart, tearing it out of place. He collapsed and blacked out. He awoke to many tentacles burying themselves in his body. One hit the spinal cord and fused with his brainstem. A flood of thought hit him all at once, as he suddenly became one with the Dogscape. More tentacles connected themselves to his vital organs as he became assimilated. He saw through every eye in the lands, and he felt every single nerve on the planet. The healing factor continued tearing him apart, but adding new pathways and connections. It wasn't long until he was entirely consumed. His memories faded away as his brain was reorganized into replacing the one he had destroyed. Log 8. It's been 3 years and 2 weeks now since I met another human being. I know because I've cut a small notch in my left leg for every day, one in my left arm for every week, and one in my right arm for every year. Admittedly, not the most effective way of keeping track of time. When I started, I figured I'd be dead or this would be over before it really mattered. Like I said, I haven't met any other people for a while, but I figured I would write this anyways, just in case as a warning to others that might be out there. I ran into something terrible today. Well, the whole Dogscape is terrible, but I mean more terrible. I think even among the Dogscape, it's some sort of crazy abomination, since the feral dogs and the ground mouths didn't seem too fond of it either. That screaming is not something I ever hope to hear again. That's not the beginning. I'm sorry about this. The blood I'm using doesn't really come off the paper, and I can't waste any by throwing it away and not even thinking about talking to other people for years. That's maybe sort of bad at thinking in a straight line. But I'll try. Let me just start over at the beginning. The day started normally. It was my weekly gathering day, so I left my tent. By the way, I left my tent at the foot of the Pillar of Dogs in the direction of the setting sun if you wanted it, but you probably won't because the skin has probably gone bad by now. To collect the dog fruits I would need for the week, and to fill a bag or two with milk. When I got to the place where there should have been teats, there was just a bloody mess, where someone had dug deep into the flesh of the Dogscape. I didn't really think much of it at first, just that I would need to go looking for a new source of milk. Then I saw it. I thought it was another person at first. If I had stopped to really look first, I wouldn't have had any problems, and I probably wouldn't be writing this right now, I guess. I started shouting at its attention, and it did get its attention because it turned toward me. And then I realized I had made a huge mistake. Thinking back, the really long arms and twisty body probably should have been my first clue. I didn't really see anything that was wrong until it turned toward me, and I saw what I thought was a head. It was just a featureless lump of flesh. Its arms unfolded outwards, each arm ending in 2 canine legs and a human face on its chest, opened its mouth and started screaming. I figured it was bad news then and made a mad dash for the nearby Pillar of Dogs, but it kept running after me. It was much faster. Somehow I managed to make it, and I started scrambling to climb out of its reach. I didn't get very far before there was a sharp pain in my leg, and I looked down and saw that it had bitten me with one of the many canine mouths along the arm things. I screamed as it pulled me down, but that didn't do much, and I probably would have died right then if it weren't for what happened next. Out of nowhere, a mouth I didn't even see when I started climbing the dog pillar bit down on it and then one on the ground, and I started chewing at it. But it didn't really seem to hurt it, but it let go all the same. I ran away as fast as I could, but I could hear that screaming long after I was out of sight. I didn't sleep that night. Just before nightfall tonight, I felt like I had to make sure the Dogscape had killed it, and went to the pillar, but I saw no trace of it. But the notebook I tore this paper from was there, and I took that. So now, here I am. I'm not going to stay around here any longer after I finish this, but finding this notebook made me think maybe there are other people. And if so, maybe I should warn them about things like this. So, if you are reading this, good luck. Oh, also, I am moving in the direction of the rising sun. So if you can read this, you're probably another person. So if you go that direction, maybe we can meet up and be a little better off than we were.